Yeah, so I was addicted to content for a very long time, from the age of like 10 or even younger than that, to be honest, to about 15. I was addicted to content. I fucking binge watched so much shit on YouTube and stuff. But it was about in 2021 when I was 12 years old, or no, 13 years old. I was turning 14. That really started getting into short form content. Um, and I discovered the dangers of that. So yeah, I was a 13-year-old kid. I had heard about TikTok and stuff. Musically was called back in the day as well. But yeah, I downloaded TikTok, started scrolling on that shit. I also downloaded Snapchat because all the kids in my school in my year had Snapchat, and they had these sort of what's it called, streaks, days. You would get your phone, right. This is my phone case. You get your you get your phone. You take a picture of yourself, and then you'd send it to people, and then uh, you'd get dopamine from when you saw that you'd gotten notifications and stuff, and you'd go onto there. You'd have this little sound notification thing enabled on your phone, so it would like pop up on your phone, like just randomly throughout your day, sapping your focus and stuff. At least that's how it was for me. And yeah, man, I did that stuff for about 2 years, from 13 to 15 roughly. And I wasted so much time on it, scrolling on TikTok and on Snapchat, because most people don't realize it, but Snapchat, it's a short form platform content. Not only with the actual short form videos, like the scroll thing that you can see on the if you click like in the bottom right corner of the Snapchat sort of like app, but also just the normal like pictures that people send of themselves to others. Is also short form content. The same sort of dopamine is spiked. The same dangers are in it as there is in like TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts and stuff. And I was quite unaware of these at the time, but I want to bring them up in this video. So the main, or at least one of the big main negative aspects of short form content is you've probably heard of this already, but it's how it affects your dopamine levels. So basically, dopamine levels is, I thought it was more like the reward system in your brain originally, um, like the sort of feel good feeling, but actually it's more about the motivation in your body. So when your dopamine is spiked, you have a lot of motivation. Like, let's say I got this sort of analogy from a guy, Hamza. I watch him a lot on YouTube, and basically was that you have a baseline of dopamine in your brain, in your body. Let's say you have 100 dopamine, right? You have 100 motivation, but when your brain starts thinking about, oh man, I should go onto TikTok and scroll, or you're already scrolling and your dopamine levels are just going up and up and up. It rises from 100 to 150, 200, 250. You're really in the flow of it. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Or you're watching porn or some shit, and you're trying to find the right video, and it's basically like your dopamine centers, receptors are all getting fried, and your motivation is spiked by it. But here's the thing, here's the kicker. After your dopamine levels have been spiked, they drop back to the baseline. But not only that, they also drop below the baseline, and a new baseline is formed, like below the original one. So what this means in practicality is that when you are indulging in dopaminergic activities like scrolling on social media, short form content, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchats, and stuff, um, your motivation for life is just sapped. It's going down after you've done it. That's how it works. That's why, for example, cold showers increases your baseline dopamine, your baseline motivation, because they're hard to do. It's a challenge, you know. Is not you're probably not very motivated to go into the cold shower. Perhaps you are. You're a bit of a psychopath like myself or some shit. But in general, it's gonna be very healthy for your dopamine levels to do something like cold showers. But with scrolling, you're you're getting your baseline of dopamine is dropping, And it's not just that like you're like, oh yeah, yeah man, I have less motivation, but yeah, I'm a disciplined guy. I can use discipline and stuff. It's not only about that. It's about your desire, or rather, sorry, it's about your ability to desire doing the productive things. Like it's not just, yeah man, I have lost. I'm not very motivated to do this productive habits, to go to the gym. It's more like I'm not very motivated to even um, like get the reward of going to the gym, which is the muscle, right? And the positive aspects of that, the health and the sex appeal and stuff. Um, so it's not just that you're not motivated to do the activity, but also with the outcome. You're not very, like, for example, the absolute, like the biggest sort of example that I can big on sorry, the biggest sort of example that I can apply this to, or use as an example, is with post nut clarity. Like for example, if you're watching porn and you're jacking off, and then when you bust, like you get post nut clarity, right? You're so turned off. You're in this state of shame. All of your motivation for this sex, like this porn or whatever, just dropped significant, like so much, right? And that's probably the biggest example. It's not quite as severe with scrolling in general. It obviously depends on the volume, how much of it you do, but in general, scrolling on social media, it's so destructive for your dopamine system, that to the point that you lose the ability, at least to some extent, to desire your goals in the first place. Not even the activities that will get you to the goals, but the goals themselves, which is fucking horrible. It's such an insidious attack by the matrix, the system, whatever you want to call it, to introduce these things to children at such a young age, like myself, for example. Um, yeah, man, it just, when you go into a dopamine detox, you can actually, like, let's say you delete all the apps, you stop scrolling. It's like you regain life, like, you know, motivation for life in general. Not just like regular activities like going to the gym or reading books or meditating, but more like for life itself. Your ability to think long term and desire things long term goes up significantly, which is such an amazing experience if you've never experienced it. If you've been addicted to dopamine for the majority of your life, or at least like the past 5 years or some shit, and you cut out the dopamine, like you're gonna start desiring things in a completely new way. And it's a really amazing feeling when you can think long term, when you're not chained to these short pleasurable activities. So that's the first big danger with short form content. Yeah, bro. What was the second one I was gonna say? Fuck, my mind just went blank. What was it? Fuck, what the fuck was it I was gonna say? I prepared some little bullet points for this video. Yeah, so this is the one. So another aspect of short form content that is so destructive is the fact that you are feeding your brain with so much bullshit. Okay, so you feed your body with food, right? And what happens when you feed your body with bullshit, with junk food? You get unhealthy. It damages your body, right? Damages your body ability to function properly internally, like your gut microbiome and stuff. But apart from that, it also negatively impacts things like your longevity, and just your, let's say, your gym performance. If you eat a fuck ton of ice cream, you're not gonna be performing as well in the gym and stuff. So yeah, man, there's a fuck ton of dogs here in this park. People walking their dogs in the morning here. It's nice to see, bro. Yeah, but anyway, um, man, yeah, bro. Yeah, it's just a little side note. Yeah, I'm out here in like forest area of my hometown, and there's a big meadow here with a little like dog park where people go and play with their dogs and stuff. It's nice to see, you know. Um, but yeah, basically, anyway, basically, what happens when you feed your like it's that's what it is, you know. It's called a feed for a reason, like your social media feed, because you're literally feeding your brain information. You're impregnating your mind with information, and really what happens is that you contaminate your shower thoughts. Like you've probably heard about shower thoughts, which is kind of like your automatic thoughts. Like you're just like the thoughts that are randomly produced in your mind, like the thoughts that you're supposed to get in the shower when you're thinking about ideas and stuff. Those are contaminated, which means that they are like like a bunch of shit is coming into it. Like for example, if you have a bowl of clear water, and then you pour some you like you grab some mud into it, and like put the mud into the bowl. It's gonna contaminate the water and it's gonna make it dirty, you know. And that's basically what happens to your mind. And like when you consume all this bullshit content, like it's not just that you can consume educational content and be fine. Like for example, if you're scrolling on TikTok, but it is about, for example, it's, you know, some clips from a podcast, or some, let's say, Andrew Tate or some shit, or some big like self-improvement sort of masculinity creator, Hamza Ahmed or some shit, Iman Gadji, Alex Hormozy, Luke Belmar or someone. Like it's not that you can just scroll endlessly on those and be fine because you're um, like if, let alone like the dopaminergic side of it, but just the kind of how it like affects your shower thoughts in your brain. Because you, if you feed yourself with educational content, surely that's right. Yes and no. um, the part of it that's no, or like the negative side of it, is that you are switching contexts all of the time, that your brain is receiving so much different kind of content, right? It's very unnatural to be spawning randomly into different conversations 20, like every second or some shit when you do this, you know. And basically it contaminates your shower thoughts, and it makes it harder to actually like think and contemplate and come up with ideas. You might be randomly walking through your day and get some thoughts about some fucking bullshit that you consume. You know, it happens to this day. Like I sometimes just songs that I listened to when I was younger just randomly pop up in my mind when I'm working or some shit. And it's so annoying because I get it on my mind, and I can't fucking seem to get it to go away, because I, like, you know, I fed my brain that shit, that information previously so much. You know, I binge listened to some fucking songs back in the day. And yeah, it's unfortunate that they still linger in my mind, you know. But that's what happens when you feed your brain a fuck ton of information. And generally, the more different the information is from, like the more you switch contexts, the more like the more different shorts that you're watching, the worse, because of the fact that they're all different from each other, and that your brain is like hyper concentrated, trying to absorb and like trying to connect all the information in your head at the same time. It fries your brain, it makes it harder to think, and it contaminates your shower thoughts. So stop, like, you know, stop feeding your brain bullshit like you would with your body, right? It's the same. And then the final and kind of big and obvious danger of doom scrolling, or whatever motherfuckers call it nowadays, Gen Z motherfuckers. I'm a Gen Z motherfucker too, bro. Yeah, doom scrolling, bro. Yeah, is that just the amount of time that it takes, right? I have probably spent about like at least like 3 hours a day. Well, let's say 2 hours a day on average for. I probably did, or nah, man. It was like 3 hours a day for 2 years, which is 2,000 hours. You know, 3 hours a day for a year is about is more than 1,000 hours. Like, in 10,000 hours, you literally mastered a fucking sport, right? It's the big and obvious thing. like the amount of time that it takes. And it's the thing is that it's so frictionless to keep going. It's so easy to keep going, you know. Like it's so like obviously it's just, you know, you're just swiping on your phone. It's so frictionless, and that's really how it becomes so dopaminergic. If you had to, let's say, that's what happens. Like for example, if you're scrolling and you're really in the flow of it, your dopamine is up in the fucking up, like in the, what do you call it, like through the roof, right? But then your Wi-Fi stops working. It's so agitating when that happens, right? Because it's the kind of the more friction has been introduced, and your dopamine just it it expects this continuation of more dopamine hits, but it doesn't get it. So it creates this feeling of agitation inside of you. You know, so you know it's a big and obvious thing. It's so frictionless to keep going, and because of that, it takes so much time out of your day, man. So yeah, bro, I'm super grateful for my younger self getting out of that shit ASAP. You know, of course, I've had some ups and downs with it since, but like 2 years ago, that was when I really stopped. At 15, that was when I really stopped consuming and like scrolling on social media and stuff. So yeah, bro, if you want more help with this kind of stuff, you know, disconnecting, or not really disconnecting, but stop scrolling on social media and binge watching stuff, you can click the link in the description if you want more help with that. So yeah, bro, I'll catch you in the next one.